A very pleasant evening to everyone. Let us wait for 2 more minutes for the participants to join the webinar. Thanks for your patience, everyone. A very pleasant evening to everyone. I am Chandana, Resource Manager of Skill Activate, welcoming you all to the international webinar on Exploratory Data Analytics using Python, organized by the team Skill Activate. Skill Activate is an e-learning platform dedicated to delivering high-quality, interactive, and engaging courses across various disciplines. Our team of passionate educators and professionals are committed to providing a transformative learning experience for our learners. Before we go into the session, there's a wonderful news for all our beloved participants that we, the team Skill Activate, is going to organize a 1 month paid workshop in the month of January 2024 on the extended concepts of applications of IoT in day to day life with our honored and experienced instructor, Tirupagan sir, and the fees would be 1200 per each registration. This is exclusively for students of technical departments. Soon, we will be letting out some of the coupons through some of the faculty members, and the students who uses those coupons will be offered a discount of 100 rupees, and the faculty members who will be referring the coupons would be awarded 100 for each registration, and the total amount will be directly credited to their accounts. The learners will also be exposed to the new concepts in IoT along with practical knowledge through the implementation of projects in IoT. We would be having 1 hour session for a month daily from Monday to Friday starting after the Pongal. The date is also announced. It is from Jan 22nd. Don't miss out this wonderful opportunity. Stay tuned for our website skillactivate.com for new updates, information and latest happenings. Now we will be having the 1 hour session by our guest speaker, Honorable Resource Person, Professor Tarshini ma'am. And allow me to give a brief introduction about her. Ms. R. M. Tarshini is working as Assistant Professor Senior Grade in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, at Banari Aman Institute of Technology, Satyamangalam, India. She has completed Bachelor of Engineering and Master of Engineering in Computer Science and Engineering from Anna University, Chennai. Currently, she is pursuing PhD ICE under Anna University, Chennai. She has 9 years of experience in industry and teaching. She has published papers in international journals indexed in Scopus, Web of Science, and Science Citation Index. She has authored book chapters on recent trends and technologies. Her research interest includes machine learning, deep learning, data analytics, and cybersecurity. She has delivered lectures to students and faculty from various institutions on R programming, Python programming, machine learning, and predictive analytics. Now, I request you, ma'am, please take over the session for our audience. Now, you can share your screen and go on with the session, ma'am. I heartily welcome Darshini, ma'am, to please take over the session.
Chandana, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, your voice is clearly audible. Please go ahead.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, good evening to one and all gathered here. So, thank you, Skill Activate team, for providing me with this opportunity to share my knowledge on Python, especially on focusing on exploratory data analytics with this set of audience. So, let me start the session. So, in this session, we will be discussing about exploratory data analytics using Python. So, to begin with, data analytics has become an essential component in today's world because we people are generating data in huge amounts every second because we are interacting with the technical or technical gadgets, including our smartphones and then laptops in any way. And we are also interacting with so many applications. In our smartphones, we have n number of applications, and all those applications are gathering so much amount of data, and those data are analyzed by for the business purposes. So when you have to analyze a large amount of data, you would need a specific technique which can be smart enough to analyze the data such that you can perceive some useful insights and patterns from that data. So, such a technique is exploratory data analysis, and this exploratory data analysis can be done in a very easier way using Python language. Okay, so Python is a language that we are going to use in order to implement this exploratory data analysis. So data analysis in general, it involves several processes. Like you have the data that we have, it would be in the form of a raw form. So that raw data, it has to be cleaned, transformed, and then analyzed in order to build models. Okay. And using those models, we would be able to extract some specific and relevant insight. And this kind of an analysis is really beneficial for making important business decisions in many real time situations. So, exploratory data analysis plays a very important role in organizations in today's world. So, it also lets the data scientists analyze the data before reaching any conclusion. So, technically defining what is exploratory data analysis. Exploratory data analysis is one of the techniques which are used for extracting vital features and trends which are used by machine learning and deep learning models in the field of data science. So, how are we going to extract those vital features and trends, and how do you analyze? How do you uh, differentiate between the trends? Okay, so in order to find a particular, say, any product that you say could be a mobile phone. So, what is the sales?
Ma'am, your audio is stopped, ma'am. Once could you please check your connection? I request all the participants to be patient for a while. It will be resumed in a very few minutes. Yes, ma'am. Now you can share your screen, ma'am.
Yes, sorry everyone, sorry for the interruption. My connection was lost due to bad internet connection. So let me share my screen. Chandana, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. We got your screen and your audio is also good. Please continue, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So exploratory data analysis. I'm not sure where my connection was lost. So let me quickly come again with what is exploratory data analysis. The exploratory data analysis is the technique that we use to extract vital features and trends by applying machine learning and deep learning models in data science. So now what is the importance of EDA in data science? So data science is now very important in the business world as it provides many opportunities to make vital business decisions by analyzing the hugely gathered data. In such a case, exploring the data in all the aspects is vital, and thus EDA plays a very important role in the field of data science. Coming to the objectives of the exploratory data analysis, it has five main objectives. And the first one is identifying and removing the data outliers. So, data outliers are nothing but when a particular data does not fall within the specified range of that particular feature, we call that to be a data outlier. So, identifying and removing the data outliers is one of the main important objectives of exploratory data analysis. Next, identifying trends in time and space. So, identifying the temporal and spatial patterns of the data is also very important when it comes to exploratory data analysis. Next, we'll try to uncover the patterns that are related to the target. Here, the target means in a data set we have n number of features, and the final column would be the target or the class value which we will try to predict. So, in terms of the target perspective, we will try to uncover the patterns. Next is creating hypotheses and testing them through experiments. So creating hypothesis is again a trend that we identify from the data that is available with us, and that we would experiment it several times so that we get the most needed results. And then identifying the new sources of data that could be more relevant to the research. Now, these are the main objectives of exploratory data analysis. Next, we go on to the role of EDA in data science. So, the role of data exploration analysis is based on the use of objectives that are being achieved, as I mentioned earlier. So, after formatting the data, the performed analysis, it will indicate the pattern and the trend that will help to make proper decisions, okay, that will be required by the business people. So, as data science involves building models for prediction, they require optimum data features to be considered by the model. So, thus, EDA ensures that the correct ingredients in the pattern and the trends are made available so that the model achieves the most efficient outcome. So, what are the steps involved in this exploratory data analysis? The first one is the data collection. So the data that you need for your business when you do it for an organization or a business, we need to first collect the data. Next, we need to find the features that are available in the data, which would be more appropriate and relevant to make the correct predictions. Next, once we are done with finding the features and the target, we move ahead with cleaning the data because as I quoted already, data will be in a raw form and it would contain missing values, inappropriate values, and then the values may not be available, it may be incorrect. So all that needs to be cleaned before we proceed. Next, we go on to identify the correlated variables. So this is again very important because when you find certain variables are correlated, that will be easier for us to proceed with the analysis. Next, after finding out the correlated variables, cleaning the data, the next step that we have to do is choose the right statistical methods that I can use. The statistical methods would be mean, average, variance, or standard deviation that is needed for that particular data that you have to be watchful in choosing this right statistical methods. And finally, we visualize and analyze the results. So, what are the types of this exploratory data analysis? We have three main types of exploratory data analysis. One is univariate, the other one is bivariate, and the third one is multivariate. So, let's look at an example for each of the statements. So, coming to the first one, univariate analysis. In univariate analysis, the output is a single variable and all data collected is for it. Okay, so the output, we have input and output, right? So, here the output will be a single variable. So, there is no cause effect relationship here. Okay, so there, for example, the data shows the products which are produced each month for 12 months. So what we are trying to do, we are just trying to look at the data which is going to tell us the products that are produced by a certain company for all the 12 months. Okay, so the output here is only the product, right? So this kind of a, when the output is a single variable, we call it to be a univariate analysis. Okay, moving on to the next type, which is bivariate analysis. So in this bivariate analysis, the outcome is dependent on two variables. Okay, so for example, age of an employee, while the relation with it is compared with two variables, the salary earned and the expenses per month. Okay, so the outcome is the age of the employee, but how are we going to obtain that outcome age? We are going to obtain it based on his salary and the expenses he do per month. The next one is multivariate analysis. In multivariate analysis, the outcome is more than two. That is, for example, the type of product and the quantity sold against the product price, advertising expenses, and the discounts offered. So, in multivariate analysis, what do we do? Here, the outcome is also multiple, and the features based on which we are going to predict that outcome is also multiple. So, this kind of a analysis, we tell it to be multivariate. So these three analysis, it is dependent on the number of variables that we are going to use in order to make the analysis. So I hope this is clear. So what are the three types of exploratory data analysis? We have univariate, bivariate, and multivariate analysis. In univariate, we try to predict one outcome, and then in bivariate, we have two outcomes, and then the outcome will be dependent on two variables, and in multivariate the outcome is dependent on more than two variables. So the next thing, what are the tools that we can use for this exploratory data analysis? So the first tool is Python. So why do we go for Python? Python is used for different tasks in exploratory data analysis, such as finding the missing values in data collection, data description, handling outliers, obtaining insights through charts. So all these activities of EDA can be carried out with ease using Python language. So the syntax for EDA, okay, including the libraries like matplotlib, pandas, seaborn, numpy, algebra, all this is very simple and easy to use with Python. You can find many open source packages in Python, okay, which you can use to automate the entire process of exploratory data analysis. And this, I tell you, saves a lot of time. The next tool, which is more appropriate for this exploratory data analysis, is R. So R is a programming language which is regularly used for the statistical observations and in order to analyze the data. So like Python, R is also an open source language and it's much suitable for statistical computing and graphics. Apart from the commonly used libraries, okay, like ggplot, leaflet, and lattice, there are several powerful R libraries which are specifically automated for EDA process. Like you have Data Explorer, Smart EDA, and GGalley. The third tool is the MATLAB. The MATLAB is a very well-known commercial tool among engineers since it has a very strong mathematical calculation ability. So due to this, it is possible to use MATLAB for EDA, but it requires some basic knowledge about MATLAB programming language as well. So that comparing to Python, R, and MATLAB, Python is the most preferred. You have all the required packages for EDA. You just pick and place the appropriate functions into your code. Haha, the analysis can be done in few seconds or minutes. So, what are the advantages of using this EDA? It is very useful to gain insights into underlying trends and patterns. And the second one is it improves the understanding each of the variables, meaning the features that are available in the data set. And then it is very better, okay, to pre-process the data. So it saves quite a lot of time. And it is also useful to make data-driven decisions. Okay. So now let's have a quick look at Python introduction. So here I don't have any syntax or anything given in the PPT. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at how Python influences today's market, and then we'll move on to exploring the code. Okay, so this is IEEE Spectrum list of the top programming languages in 2023, and here you have the top 10 languages like Python, C, Java, C++, C Sharp, R, JavaScript, PHP, Go, and Swift. And you can see that Python ranks the top best, top most in this list because of its widespread use in several applications. So, what makes Python the best of the best? Simplicity. The code is very simple compared to C, C++, and Java, where you have to follow a hell lot of syntax in order to code. So here Python is very simple. It's open source and it's a high level language. Okay. And it is interpreted. Okay, so hope you all know the difference between a compiled language and an interpreted language. So compiled language, you need to compile the entire code and then you find the error, you debug it, and then you produce the results. But Python is an interpreted language where each line will be interpreted and the output is predicted. And again, it is both object oriented as well as functional. When we take C language, it is a functional language. It is C++ is object oriented, Java is object oriented, and this is both functional as well as object oriented. And of course, it is a portable language. It works in all the platforms. It is extensible and embeddable. And the most important feature, which makes Python the best of the best, is it comes with a vast collection of libraries. So you have several libraries which you can just import and then make use of the functions in it. So what are the real world applications of Python? You can use it for web development. You can use it for gaming applications. You can use it for many scientific as well as numerical involved applications. And here in our AI and machine learning, Python is the basic code that we use for AI and ML models, for developing AI and ML models, and of course in software development. Apart from that, you have several business applications which they use Python as the primary language. You can use it to develop OS, you can use it for web scraping applications, and then image processing, graphic design applications. You also use Python. So, what are the top apps which are made with Python? All you can guess all the apps that you use in your day-to-day life, like Instagram, Pinterest, Spotify, Dropbox, Uber, n number of applications that we use in our day-to-day life, all are written in Python. So, what are the popular Python frameworks for mobile app development? So, you have again many number of applications that you can use for mobile application development as well, like Django, Flask, Web2, Pyramid, CherryPy, TurboGears, Dash, Falcon, Bottle, and then Cubic Web. So all these are the frameworks that you can use for developing mobile applications using Python. And then the popular IDEs with you can use Visual Studio, PyCharm, Spider, Atom, and then Google Colab. So all these Visual Studio, PyCharm, Spider, and Atom, you can install it and then use it. Google Colab, you can just use it online. So the code that I'm going to show you now is in Google Colab only. Okay. So let me share the screen of the code. Okay, so now let me quickly go through the basics of Pandas package in Python. Okay, so this is very important package in Python which you can use for several applications. So Pandas is the basic package which will be needed for almost all the applications that you use in Python. So let me quickly go through on how to work with Pandas package, and then I have another code to show you based on a case study, okay, in which we will be seeing the different visualizations using Python. Okay, so let's proceed with Pandas package. Okay, so pandas is basically used in to create the data frame. Okay, so you have a data set. I hope all know what is a data set. A data set consists of features, and the final column will be the target or the class value that we want to predict. Okay, so the data set will not be taken by the code as such. Okay, so the data set is converted into a data frame, and that is fed into our code. So how this converting it into a data frame is very useful in order to work with the data for our further analysis. So now I'm going to tell you how to create a data frame and how to work with it. So data frame is nothing but a collection of rows and columns. So all the data that you have, the data set will be in the form of a CSV file, comma separated file, value file. So that we are going to convert it into a data frame in the form of rows and columns for the ease of application. Okay. So now let's see how to create a data frame using you
This
have to
meeting
use
is
the
being
keyword
recorded.
import. So import, the name of the package is pandas as what is the alias name I'm going to give. Whenever I need to give an alias name for a package, I need to use the keyword as. So as, what is the alias name I'm going to give it? It is PD. Okay. Next we have list. So I'm going to create a list. List is nothing but a collection of values. In Python, collection of values can be treated as list, set, tuple, and dictionary. Here I'm showing you the first type, collection type, which is list. So lst is the name of the list is equal to whenever I create a list, it has to be enclosed within square brackets, and the values have to be when it is a string, okay, or a word, it has to be enclosed within double quote, and then it has to be separated by a comma value. Okay, so here the list lst, it has welcome to Banariaman Institute of Technology. So the name is being given here. Next, what do we do? we have to convert this list into a data frame. So how to convert a list into a data frame? We we give a name for the data frame, which is df is equal to pd. What is this pd? This is the alias name for pandas. So pd dot data frame. What I'm going to create into a data frame? The list I'm going to convert it into a data frame. So I pass this list lst into this data frame. So this line converts my list into a data frame. So and then when I print it, so whenever you want to visualize the result when you work with Python, you have to use the print statement, like how we use printf in C language, C out statement in C++ language, system.out.println in Java language. Similarly, in Python, we have this print statement. Okay, so print will give you the result on the screen. So output on the screen. So here what I'm doing, I give a print statement. I'm going to look at the data frame that I have created. So here the data frame is created like this. Okay. So next, we can also create it with a dictionary. Okay. So as I told you, in Python, we have the collection of values can be represented as list, set, tuple, and dictionary. Then so we are going to look at how from a dictionary we can convert it into a data frame. So here you have, whenever we go for a dictionary, we need to specify two values. One is the key and the other one is the value. So here the key is name and the name contains four values. And the second key is age and this contains again four values. Okay. Now what we do, we create the data frame and here the data frame has to be enclosed within a flower bracket and then it has to be you have to give the key value and then key and the value. Okay. Next, what we do, we pass on this dictionary onto the data frame. Okay. So pd dot data frame of data. So here the data frame is created and you can visualize it. Okay. So as you can see, you have the rows with Tom 20. Okay. The name and its corresponding age. You can see it in the form of rows and columns. Now, how to select a particular column from this data frame? That you can do it. For that, what we are doing is we are creating another dictionary, and this dictionary has four keys like name, age, address, and qualification, and its corresponding values also it is having. Now, what I have to do, I have to convert the data, the dictionary into a data frame. So, how do I convert it? You have data. So this data I have to pass on to the data frame function of pandas package. After passing it, what I can do, if I can print it, then I can see the specific columns. Like here, I have four columns, right? Name, age, address, and qualification. But I want to visualize the data of name and qualification column alone. In that case, what I can do, when I print it, I can give df of those two names alone I can specify. When I do like that, I can visualize the data of name and qualification alone. Okay. Next, we can do row selection also. Okay. So for row selection, what you have to do? We have to use a method which is data frame dot loc. Okay. So from the data, I want to locate one particular value alone. Okay. So based on this, wherever this every Bradley, the name is available, you bring in the data of that particular person alone. Means I have to give it like this. So this brings me the relevant details of that particular value that you have specified. So next, I've got two rows here. So when you want to bring in for one row, this is the syntax. What you have to do, you have to use data.loc method. So data.loc of, you give the value, it will bring in the row. It will select the row corresponding to this particular every Bradley and it will bring you the data. Okay. The next one is we are going to select a single column. So how do you select a single column? You have to specify the column name alone. Okay. So I hope you all can understand what we are learning now is Pandas framework. pandas package. So pandas, we have to import it and then we have to convert it into a data frame. And then we are trying to bring in, we are trying to explore how the pandas package works. Okay. So here we have the age column. I want only the age column from my data frame. So I've given only the age value. Okay. Column name, when you specify, it will bring in the values of that particular column alone. Okay. And then for selecting a row, see, the difference is earlier we created data with list and dictionary. Now what we are going to do is we are going to read it from a CSV file. As I told you, the data set will be available in the CSV file only. So what we are going to do is we are going to read the CSV file, and then from that CSV file we are going to create convert it into a data frame, and that data we are going to use it for our analysis. So how do you read the CSV file? You can, for the reading the CSV file, we have a specific package in, a specific function in Pandas framework, which is the read underscore CSV. So read underscore CSV of. So which CSV file I need to read, that I will specify its name, and then when it is passed on to read underscore CSV method of pandas package, it will be converted into a data frame. Okay. Now from that, I can select a particular column. I can also select a particular row as well. Okay. So for row selection, you can use LOC method or ILOC method. Okay. You can specify the row. Next, this is very important because when we do exploratory data analysis, we need to select appropriate data so that our analysis becomes successful. So how do you select appropriate data? The data should not contain any missing values or null values. Okay. So how to deal with these missing values and null values using Pandas package? This is an important term for exploratory data analysis. So import pandas as PD and then numpy as NP. What is this import statement? As I told you already, whenever you want to bring in the already available packages into your code, you have to use import. So import pandas as PD, and then we are giving an alias name, and here we are going to look import another new package, which is numpy. Numpy is very useful for making numerical calculations. So here what do we do? Here again we go back to dictionary. So we create a dictionary, and in this dictionary I have given some null values. Okay, not available values. Now this dictionary is converted into a data frame. So df is equal to pd dot data frame of dict. Now in this data frame, I have a specific function which is known as is null. Okay. So what does this is null function do? This is going to tell me the places where null values are present. So now from this dictionary, it will tell you. So here, this is the first column, right? So in this first column, third value is null. So since it is null, it is given as true here. Okay. So for the first value, it is given as false. The second value is given as false. And for the third value, since it is a not available value, it's given as true. Similarly, in the second column, fourth value is given as true. And in the third column, first value is given as true. Hope you all can understand. Now what we have to do is we have to fill zero for all the not available values. Okay, because zero would be a numerical value. When it is a not available value, we cannot deal with it during analysis. So what we are going to do, we are going to fill it with a zero. So in order to fill it with a zero, we have a specific function called fill NA in pandas. So df dot fill NA of 0, which means what? Wherever it finds a null value, it's going to fill it with the 0. Okay. Next, dropping the missing values using drop NA. So drop NA means we are going to drop out those values. Okay. Next, we have whenever there is one NaN value. Okay. The thing is, whenever that particular column has a single NaN value also, that would be dropped. Okay. It will not be considered at all. So here this is the NaN values, right? So in this, out of we drop the rows here. So this row, when you take, it has one NaN value. This row, it has two NaN values. And the third row, it has two NaN values. So this drop in a function, what it will do is, it will identify the row which does not contain even a single NaN value. If there is no NaN value, then it fetches and prints only that value. Okay. So here, as you can see, only this row has all the values. So in this case, when you use a drop NA, it will bring in that row alone. Okay. So NA, in order to find null value, we check if using is null function. And then for the null values, when you want to fill in with the some value, you go for fill NA function. And then this drop NA, it would drop the rows that have null values. Okay. So the next one is iterating over the rows. How to iterate? Okay. So in order to iterate, what we will use is, so here using a dictionary, we have created a data frame and we have printed it. Okay. So this data frame only we are going to use it for the proceedings. So now iterating. How to iterate? Like how in C++ we have for loop, while loop, and do while loop for doing iterations, right? Similarly, in Pandas, we have iter rows. So what it will do is, so the same for keyword only you're going to use here. So for I comma j in df comma iter rows, we are trying to print I comma j value. And then we try to print. So I comma j value means it prints the two values. Okay. So name and then the corresponding values are being printed. Okay. So next, when you want to iterate over the columns, that you can do it by specifying the particular column that you need, or particular element that you need to find out. So for I in columns, what we are trying to say, df of I comma 2, I or I2. Okay. So here for I value, you will get the each column. Okay. And then 2 value means it goes and fetches the second row. Okay. So so when, since you have specified as 2 here, this row number 2. Okay, here you have the numbers. Okay, each of the row are being numbered as 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so here when you specify the particular row number, that particular row alone is being fetched. So Sudhir MTech 80 is alone getting printed here. Okay, so in this way you can find out a particular row, and for that particular row, when you want all the column details, you can use this code. Okay. Next, you have head method in Pandas. Head is used to bring in the top 5 rows from your data set. Okay, so whenever you want to visualize the top 5 rows, so as I told you, top 5 means 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, whenever you need top 5 rows, you can use the data.head method. Okay, and then calling on series with n parameter. So here what we are going to do is, we are going to give it as n equal to n. So n value, I'm setting it as 9. So when I want specifically, because head is going to give me only 5 values. No, out of the 100 rows, I want to look at the top 15 rows. In such a case, what I can do, I can use this n equal to 15. So I can use n equal to 15 and I have to give it a series dot head of n equal to n. And now when I print top, it will give me the top 9 values. Okay, since it's given as 9 here, it starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, the next one is the tail method. So tail method, what do we do? In this example, bottom 5 rows of the data frame will be fetched. So head is going to bring me the top 5 rows. Tail is going to bring me the bottom 5 rows. Okay. Next, calling on series with the n parameter. So here again for tail also we can use the n parameter. N parameter means what? You can specify the number of rows from the bottom that you want to be visualized. Okay. Next, there is a method called describe in pandas. So describe means what it will do is it will describe about the data set. Okay, both in the perspective of an object as well as the numeric data type. So when I give describe, okay, here I've given describe, right? So in such a case, it will just bring me all the details about the data set. Okay, so here you can see it's giving me the count, unique values, top values, mean, standard deviation, maximum value, all these types give me. Okay, next one is converting a data frame to a numpy array. You can also convert it into an array. Okay, the individual values can also be converted into an array so that you can use using the 2py function of data frame. Okay. Next, we are going to give the parameters also in the same thing, same function. So for that case, you can use the d type parameter. So d type is equal to float 32 when I give. This will be converted into a floating value. Okay. And you can also validate it by using the type function. Right. Now dealing with the rows in that pandas data frame. So when you want to, as I told you already, how do you find a particular row? You can use the LOC method and the ILOC method. Okay. So the Python and the functions that are available in Python is a very huge topic. So covering it in a 1 hour session is be very, very difficult. So I would like to give you a high level uh, knowledge on what are the functions available because all these data are available already. So you can just have it, but you need to know, right? Like how it can happen and how these functions can be used. So this is the top level knowledge sharing on what are the functions in Pandas package that you can use it for exploratory data analysis. Okay, so first is equal to data.loc. So I'm using the LOC method in order to find the rows. Okay, the next one is when you want to add a row, particularly to a data frame, you can use the concat method. Okay, concatenation means itself addition, right? Merging things or adding things. So here again we have concat method which you can use to add a new row to a data frame. Okay, so it adds the particular row. And then by declaring a new list as a column. Now I have specific columns. Okay, say for example, you have name, height, and qualification. Now you want to add in another column named address, and that should be given as a list. Okay, so address is equal to Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, and Patna or the values. Now I want this list to be added as a column. What do? I just simply assign this list to the data frame. So df of I specify the name of the column is equal to I give the list value so that it will just be added. All right. Alternatively, you can also use the insert method. So insert method, what does it do? Df dot insert. What I have to insert? You have to specify all the values that needs to be inserted. All right. You specify at which position you want to insert, what is the name of the column that you want to insert, and its corresponding values. Now what happens? Age is getting inserted as so column names are again named as 0, 1, and 2. I specified like at 2 I want this to be inserted. So here in 2 it's inserted as age. Hope you understand. Alternatively, you can also do it using an assign method. So how can you insert columns into a data frame? You can just insert it directly and then you can use insert method. You can also use an assign method. Fine. So assign method, what it does? Assign of address. So you specify the column name and then you specify the corresponding values. Okay. You can also do it by using a dictionary. So dictionary, you give the key and its corresponding values. So in that way, the corresponding value is going to be the name. Okay, so the name against which the address is to be added. So the name you have to specify it as a value, and the key is going to be the value of the address. All right. Next, another important. So we have taken a look at how to add values or add columns to a data frame. So similarly, you have to understand how to drop a column, also how to delete a column or a row from a data frame, right? So dropping rows by index label, okay, that you can do it. How? You can use the drop method, okay? So data dot drop of gives that certain values. So those particular values alone will be dropped. You can also drop the columns, okay? So in order to drop the columns, you have to specify the column names, okay? Specific column names that needs to be deleted. So here team weight, these are the column names that needs to be deleted. So when you specify it, those particular columns alone will be deleted. Okay. Yes. So with this, I have told you the basic functions that will be needed in Pandas package. This is not only specific to exploratory data analysis, but these functions you would also use whenever you use the Pandas package. And Pandas is the most used package when you write Python code, right? Now let's get into the case study. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to use an employees uh, database. Okay. And this database consists of the name of the employee, their gender, the employee when they started working in that particular organization, and then their login time, salary, bonus. So these kind of stuff are available. So who are this? Are they in the senior management? Which team they are working? So all these data are available in this employees data set. Okay. So now this data set only, this data set only, we are going to use it for the exploratory data analysis. So now the first step is you have to import the necessary packages. Here the necessary packages are pandas. Okay, so import pandas as pd and then import numpy as np. Okay, so as I told you, pandas and numpy are the packages, and these packages, the alias name for pandas is you are assigning it as pd, and for numpy it is assigned as np. Next, here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look pick up a file. The CSV I actually have it in my local machine. So in order to take the files from my local machine in Google Colab, I have to use this code. So from google.colab import files, and here files.upload. So I'll get an option to upload my file. So I have uploaded it. Alternatively, you can use the other options as well. Okay, so this option I have used here. Now, then what I have to do in order to convert my data, which is available in the CSV file, into a data frame, I'm giving using the function read underscore CSV. Okay. Then I'm trying to print the data frames as I showed you. These are the data that are available in the data frame. Next, data df dot shape. So shape 1000 comma 8 is specified here. So what is this 8? Which means that there are 1000 rows and 8 columns in this data set. So whenever you specify the shape, it will tell you how many rows and columns are available. Okay. Next, to describe. Describe, we saw it right in Pandas. So it will give you all the details about that particular data set. Okay. So next, info. Info also you can use to find the information about the data set. Okay. It will tell you the non-null count and then the D type, everything it will tell you. Next, what I'm trying to do is we're changing the D type from object. Here it is object, right? To date and time. Okay, for start date column alone. Okay, For all other columns, the D type is as object, int 64, float 64 kind of. But now what I'm trying to do is for start date, because start date is an important column for employees. So however, it is not of much use if we cannot handle it properly. To handle this type of data, Pandas provide a special function which is known as date time, from which we can change the object type from object to date time. Okay, so pd dot to underscore date time. Okay, so this is the function that I'm using. So of df of start date. We can see the number of unique elements. When you want to see the unique elements that are available in the data set, you can use n unique function. Okay. Next comes the important part, which is handling the missing values. So as I told you already, we discussed about for missing values, right? In order to check for missing values, we use is null. And then for filling in the null values with some value, we can use fill NA. And for dropping certain null value rows, you can use drop N, right? So again, for this particular data set, now what you're going to do is we are using df dot is null. Okay, so is null, what it will do? It will tell whether that particular value element has a null value or not. Now, when you add a sum function to that is null function, what it will tell you is it will total, okay, the total number of null values that are available. So df dot is null dot sum. So first name, gender, start date, last login time, salary, bonus, senior management team. These are the what? Columns. And for these columns, the corresponding total null values are given here. Next, when we want to fill those values with a certain value, you can use the fill any. Okay. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to replace. Okay, in certain places, we are also replacing it with the mode value. Okay, so when you what you can do is when there is no value there, you can use mean or mode or median, any statistical approach you can use in order to fill the null value places. Next, now for the first name and team, we cannot fill the missing values with any arbitrary data, right? First name, team, and all cannot be filled arbitrarily. So we have to drop all the rows that are containing the missing values. So in such a case, now we can say that our data is now free of all the missing values. As you can see here, now all the missing values are being handled, and after dropping the data with n number of rows has reduced from 1000 to 899. Okay, so can you all understand here what we are trying to do is wherever it is possible to replace the null values, we are trying to replace it by using the statistical approach. For that particular column, what we do, we will apply either the mean value, mode value, or the median value of the other values that are available. We will take a mean of those values and then fill it in the empty places. Okay, else in certain cases where it is not at all possible to fill it, use those statistical methods, we will drop those particular rows. All right. So in after performing all these operations, we see that from 1000 it is reduced to 899. In certain cases, you can also use this data encoding, because data encoding means there are some models, okay, like you have linear regression in machine learning, which does not work with the categorical data set. So I hope you all know what is a categorical value and a numeric value. So the categorical value means like name, senior management, what is the team they are working in. All those values are what categorical values. When it comes to age, salary, bonus, all these are numerical values. So linear regression does not work with categorical data set. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to do some encoding process in order to encode the categorical data set into the numerical column. So for that, we can use different methods of encoding like label encoding, one-hot encoding, and this Pandas and sklearn provide different functions for encoding. And here we are going to use label encoding. Okay, so label and how do you use that code? For using that, you have to import sklearn package, sklearn.preprocessing, and then you have to import label encoder. The LE is equal to label encoder. Next, so which column you're going to use that? For gender, you're going to use that. Gender is equal to le dot fit transform of, you specify that particular column. Okay. So gender means it would be either male or female, right? So we can encode it as 0 and 1. Okay. When it is more than two values, you can number it as well. 0, 1, 2 goes on, right? Because any particular column will have certain number of possible values only. So if there are 10 possible values, you have to number it as 0 to 9. Okay. Next is the visualization. This is the main part of exploratory data analysis. After even analyzing all the data, what you have to do is you have to visualize it. Only then you can understand the patterns or the trends in the data set, and identifying the patterns and trends in the data set is the most important part of exploratory data analysis. So what is this data visualization? Data visualization is the process of analyzing data in the form of graph or map, making it a lot easier to understand the trends and patterns in the data. So the first one that we are going to discuss is histogram. Histogram, this you can apply it for univariate as well as bivariate analysis. So how do you use it? Here I'm going to use two visualization packages. One is Seaborn and the other one is Matplotlib. So in Seaborn, I'm using the alias name SNS, and for Matplotlib, it is used as PLT. Whenever you use Matplotlib, it should be matplotlib.pyplot. Now, SNS, okay, from Seaborn package, I'm taking histplot. Whenever I want to use a histogram for visualization, I have to use the function histplot, okay, and I have to say which column value I want to plot. Here I'm going to plot salary column value. It is going to take the data from the data frame. Data frame is DF. And then after creating this histogram, it has to be shown to us on the screen. So to display it on the screen, you have to use matplotlib plt.show function so that the histogram will be shown to us. So this shows how the count of the people having 40,000 as salary, 60,000 as salary, 80,000, 1 lakh, 1 lakh 20,000 and 1 lakh 40,000. All right. The next one is the box plot. Box plot is again used for univariate as well as bivariate analysis. And here again, you have a similar syntax only. Okay, you have to import Seaborn and Matplotlib. Then what you have to do? You have to specify the plot, and here the graph name is box plot. So you have to use the function box plot. And here again, you have to say the what is going to be the x-axis, what is going to be the y-axis, from where I have to fetch the data. So here x is going to be salary, y is going to be team, and the data I have to fetch it from the data frame. And after doing that, I have to use what? I have to use the plt.show method in order to put it up on the screen. Now here what I do, a graph is being plotted against salary and team by comparing the salary and for a particular department. When it comes to marketing department, the salary lies between the range 60,000 to 1 lakh 20,000. When it comes to the department finance, the salary lies between the range 65,000 to 1 lakh 25,000. When it comes to the department business development, the salary again lies between the range 60,000 to 1 lakh 20,000. So in such a way, in order to analyze the ranges, okay, you can use this box plot. Next, there is also another plot which is known as scatter box plot, okay, or scatter plot. So scatter plot is mainly used for bivariate analysis. And here again, you have to use the keyword scatter plot. You import the necessary libraries and then you give sns dot scatter plot. So here you will specify there what is going to be the X column, which is salary here, and Y column, which is team here. Data is going to be fetched from DF. Okay. Now, what we have to do is you have to place the legend. Here, since I want the legend, I am giving it the legend method. And this legend method, show method, all this is available in matplotlib only. Okay. So you need to be sure on which function I have to take from which package. Okay. So this is again showing you a trend on the salary and the team by using scatter plot category. Next one is for multivariate analysis. You can use a pair plot. Okay, pair plot method is also available in a Seaborn package. You can use it for multiple pairwise bivariate analysis. So here it's between salary and senior management. Here also salary and bonus. Okay, and then we have between bonus senior management. So it shows you how the data ranges for each gender. All right. Here, the last topic is how to handle the outliers. Okay, so handling outliers is also an important concept in exploratory data analysis. So, outlier, as I told you already in the beginning of the session, outlier is when a particular value falls far from the data range. Okay, say for example, marks. Marks has to be always between 0 and 100. Marks cannot be beyond 100, right? Also, it cannot be negative. So that is said to be outlier. When marks value goes as 501, that is absolutely not possible. So that is said to be an outlier. So an outlier is a data item or an object that deviates significantly from the rest of the object. So marks, all the values would be between 0 and 100 only. When one value is 501, it's obviously an outlier. Right? All right. So they can be caused by measurement or execution errors. And the analysis of this outlier detection, we call it to be outlier mining. Okay. So here we install the required packages. And then here I'm going to use iris dataset for this. Iris is a popularly known dataset which is about the flowers. Okay. So that dataset is being taken. And here what we are going to do is we are going to use a box plot to analyze the sepal width in order to find the outliers. Okay, so here it is found that the values above 4 and below 2 are said to be the outliers. Okay, so the value range should be between uh, 2 to 4. If it goes below 2 also it is an outlier. If it goes above 4 also it is said to be an outlier. Okay, here that is what the range is being specified. Fine. So for removing an outlier, one must follow the same process for removing an entry from a data set using its exact position. What we will do is we will remove the outlier, right? For that only we'll be using this interquartile range. Okay, we find the range using this percentile function. And after finding the range, you have to subtract it. Okay, interquartile functions, after finding it, you will subtract it. And once the IQR, interquartile range, is being identified, the old shape is printed. And then what we do, we remove the outliers, okay, by finding the specific places. And now after finding the outliers, now you can see that all the values lie between only the specified range, which is 2 to 4. Okay. So yes, with this, we have come to the end of this session on exploratory data analysis. I think I've given you, I understand that it is difficult to understand all these concepts or remember all these concepts in one go. Okay, so but at least you should remember the main function names so that you can use it when you are doing implementations or projects using Python, especially for data analysis. Okay, so thank you all. I'm open to questions, so you can post your questions.
Yes, ma'am. The session was wonderful and very much informative. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
About exploratory data analysis, its importance, objective role, and steps involved, their types and advantages, and real life applications also. And including Python with all these was really much helpful for the technical aspirants and computer science students. I extend my heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am, on behalf of Skill Activate for this extraordinary session to our participants. You have really enlightened our event today. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Uh, we have got some questions in the chat box.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Can we get a good job with only Python?
So only Python. When you are a fresher, okay, you're joining an organization as a fresher. It's really important that you're strong in one programming language. Okay, but since Python is very simple language and you don't have any specific, Chandan, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Neeraj is specifying like not audible. It's audible, right?
Uh, yes, ma'am. Your voice is audible
Okay.
clearly. Please continue.
Okay. Okay. So as I was saying, as a fresher, it's important that you're strong with one particular language. But since Python is very simple and you don't have, it is not syntax specific as well. So being strong in other languages like C or C++ or Java, in addition to Python, will be very useful for you when you search for jobs in companies with good packages. Okay. I hope I have answered.
Um, yes, ma'am. Everyone is saying that AI was introduced in programming, so no future.
No, AI cannot solve all the problems that a human can solve. Okay. It's just going to give you the best possible solutions, but it is the human expert who's going to choose the solution which is the best. But again, the best solutions are proposed by a machine. A human brain is more superpower than the machine, right? So even those best solutions, it has to be adapted to that particular scenario or that particular problem. It has to be implemented by the human. So AI will never spoil the future and all.
Okay, ma'am. I think that's it for the Q&A sessions. There aren't any more questions from the audience.
Okay.
The session's going much lively. Thanks to everyone. Now, to make it more interactive and clear, let's check our knowledge up to what extent we have learned so far today through a quiz. The link is provided for you in the chat box. Please click on that and it will redirect you to our website. Please log into your account and enroll in this webinar. And you can see the topic down there. Let's interact. And clicking on that, you would find a video on how to attempt the quiz and claim your certificate. In the past few webinars, all the participants are having a lots of doubts on how to claim the certificate and how to download it. So we have placed a clear-cut video in which each and every step is recorded and explained from first to last. So please go through that video completely first and then later attempt your quiz and then you can claim your certificate. And if you have any further doubts during this procedure, feel free to reach us out through the chatbot present on our website's homepage. Our team will always be there to guide you and help you out through every step. So, if the traffic is more, the site would be slow and it would take some time to load the content. So, please be patient and please try again after some time. And please note that the certificate will be issued
Voice is
only till
breaking.
the night of Monday. Sorry, ma'am.
Your voice is breaked in between.
Um, Sorry, ma'am. Once I'll repeat myself again.
Okay.
Everything is clearly explained in the video, the step-by-step procedure on how to claim your certificate. Please go through that video and after that, please attempt the quiz and please give your valuable feedback there itself in the reviews. And after that, you can download your certificate in the form of JPG or PDF as you wish. And if you have any further doubts during this procedure, feel free to reach us out through the chatbot present on our website's homepage. Our team will always be there to guide you and help you out through every step. If the traffic is more and many number of people are trying to access the website at the same time, it would be a bit slow and website. And the recording of this live session will soon be uploaded on the website in the same course that you have attempted the quiz. You can watch it anytime. And now I would like to convey my vote of thanks for today's session. I express my sincere gratitude to the Professor Tarshini for sharing her valuable time and knowledge insights on the exploratory data analytics using Python. And I extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Tilak Babu for organizing this amazing webinar, which is really helpful to all the technical aspirants, lecturers, and students of technical domains. And I thank our project head, Mr. Rajesh, for all his help and support throughout each and every step. And I thank Professor J.D. Venkatesh for his support through the planning and timely suggestions. And I would like to thank Mr. Tarun and all the members of the team Skill Activate for the technical support and management. And finally, I extend my thanks to all the audience for making this event a huge success with your presence and interaction. Thank you so much, everyone. And before closing, I would like to announce the details of the next webinar, which is going to be held on 30th December 2023 at 7 p.m. on the topic From Home to Horizon, the comprehensive awareness webinar on abroad education. The registrations will be open soon and follows for more updates on WhatsApp community and social media. Also our website skillactivate.com. So awaiting for you participants, we are going to organize our next webinar on 30th of this month. Don't miss out and thanks for joining. The link to attempt the quiz and claim your certificate will also be shared to you in the WhatsApp community that you have already joined mostly. So or else you can also go to our website directly to claim the certificate as explained in the video in the step-by-step procedure. And I thank everyone again. Thanks for joining.